Hey everyone, good morning. Welcome to the King Angel Show. This segment called Coffee, the News, and Us. I'm King Angel, a San Francisco Bay Area live streamer and content creator here on YouTube and Twitch, also Facebook. Hope you're having a great day. Happy Monday. Another week. Another time to be grateful to be alive, I guess. Be honest with you. Been having a pretty rough morning. I apologize for the delay. I was also waiting for the leaf blower to finish doing what it was doing because it was extremely loud. And it's been proven that it actually does end up being recorded on video, so yeah. I apologize. I went through one of the videos one of the episodes that I did on a Monday, and yeah, you can definitely clearly hear it when it passes by, and I thought that maybe I could get away with it not being that loud, but yeah, that wasn't the case. But nonetheless, we're here. Like I said, happy Monday. Yeah. We're going to start off with some good news network today for Coffee, the News, and Us. I haven't been feeling the best lately. Hoping that we read some great articles and stuff that'll help us get into a better mood. Tackle the week a lot better. Not gonna lie, it's been hard. Whatever. I mean, it's all about growth and change. But, I don't know, there's certain times when you're like, bruh, universe, like, what am I supposed to become? Like a redwood tree? What's happening? Like, how much growth am I supposed to be experiencing? How much change? Like, hold on. Like, you know, I understand that, like, change is, like, difficult and whatnot, but, wow, shit gets overwhelming at times. It's crazy. I don't know. Try to stay positive and, you know, see the good in the worst that could be happening to you, I guess. Being at the, or not being, feeling as though you're at that bottom of the barrel kind of thing, but wow. Shit is hard. I ain't gonna lie. Like, it's incredible how stressful life can be, like in general, especially when you're in an environment of like extreme like political dissonance and just reading all the time that people are losing their goddamn mind. Then on top of that, it's I don't know, man. It's just becoming increasingly difficult. But, you know, I see, I guess, the positive that I was talking about before. That's a little hard to see. I'm grateful enough to be able to, and lucky enough to be able to have an outlet, which is this one, to be able to not only talk about it, I guess, it makes me feel a little better when I'm able to express myself like this. I mean, there's not really anyone listening to me at the moment, but I know that there's plenty of people that are feeling the same way I'm feeling, and it's just hard, fucking hard. I'm telling you, it's hard. It's hard to pull yourself up from your bootstraps when the laces on the boot are pretty fucking short. You know, I'd love to pull myself up from my bootstraps. Fine, we'll go with your own narrative. But when it's cut short, it's hard. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just whatever. Things will get better. That's what I mean. I made it this far, and if you're watching me, you made it this far. So I guess there is good things coming, but the process of getting there is it's overwhelming and quite scary. And not only that, it's the uncertainty of things and just feeling like you're fucking lost. Like, that is insanity. How not only me, but there's so many people out there right now that just feel like lost. Not lost like you don't know where you are, but lost where, in a sense, like, what's your role in this whole thing? Like, I'm gonna be 39 soon. I keep thinking to myself, like, what the fuck is my role in this whole situation? I'm a spectacle inside of this huge vastness, and I have absolutely no idea what to do. Yet, there seems to be so many people out there that have shit figured out, and I don't understand how they do it. I don't know, man. Or maybe they're faking it. I've come to think about that. Like, maybe it's all just a facade that they're putting on, making it seem like they have shit under control. And it's not to say that in my particular case it's, let's just say it could be a whole lot worse, but nonetheless, everyone goes through their own stuff, and it's you set the degree of how much it impacts your life. No one can be the judge of that, because no one knows what you're really going through. So something that could be pretty minimum to someone could be a huge problem for you. It could be something that could be life-changing, life-altering for you. We're all different in that sense, but wow. I don't know, man. No one ever said it was going to be this hard. And when I say hard, again, I mean just so many factors that are against us if you really think about it. Especially here if you live in the US. I mean, ranging from like employment to healthcare to like what people are making, the fact that you work and you're not able to sustain yourself with what you're making. And in certain parts of the country, it doesn't really matter how much, it doesn't matter how much money you make, because if you live in San Francisco, you have to live with someone. For you to be able to live in the city, it's unaffordable because you would have to make an exorbitant amount of money to be able to live there. So even making 6 figures isn't enough. So, holy shit. Like, where are we heading to? How big of a precipice do we have to find ourselves in before we realize that, dude, we're going to start falling at some point? And I think that's what scares me the most. It's the falling part of the whole situation. The fact that it could all come crumbling down one day. And it feels like it is. Individually and as a whole. So, it's fucking weird, dude. And I don't even know, man. I don't even know what to say. Sorry. Apologize for that. Hey. Oh, yeah. All I can say, I guess, to kind of put a band-aid on everything is, it's going to be okay. I made it this far. We've all made it this far. We've survived a whole bunch in our lives, individually, again, and as a whole as well. So, yeah, I think that there are better days coming, and that keeps me from not going completely insane. I'm always reminded of Joker when he after he confronts, like, it's the movie. Spoiler if you haven't seen it, definitely recommend. I mean, it's an amazingly great movie, but that particular scene when he just talks about it being just like a bad day, like people just like, it takes a bad day for someone to just like go fucking insane. And I I don't know. That's how it feels like here in the States. Like it's especially in like certain parts of the country, it just feels like it's only that like one bad day that someone needs to have. That's scary as fuck. Well, whatever, man. Nonetheless, we're here. Uh, albeit, you know, there's so much negativity. Even if I'm able to have like a chance to put at least like one small minute drop of positivity into the whole bucket, whether it's half full or half empty depending on your perspective, that's what we're going to do here at the King Angel Show. Especially with the segment Coffee, the News, and Us. We have another segment. We have another segment, basically random topic day that we do for other episodes and whatnot. Well, we've done gaming episodes, so try to keep it interesting, but it's also adding to the positive factor of things, because there's way too much negativity. There's way too many guys with microphones. There's way too many people with microphones that are just spewing disinformation and just like ridiculousness, and I don't want to be a part of any of that shit. I'm cool with that. There's plenty of people that do that for a living, and whatever, man. More power to them. They can do whatever they want, but I don't want to be included in that. I would rather be a force of good, be a positive, minute drop of, something not that being put into this vastness of fucking just constant negativity that's fed to us. Anywhere we look, it's always something bad that's happening, which is fine. We need to keep ourselves informed with current things and whatnot, but Jesus fuck. It only takes so much. So that's why we're going to start today with Good News Network, and then we'll drift on from that point on. Try to get a little feel good into our lives. I've mentioned here before, and even within all this negativity, there's still a lot of good in the world, and there's still plenty to look forward to. There's still a lot of people out there that genuinely care and see the good that others have, and we can see the good that they have as well, and it keeps the world a lot more palpable and hopeful as well, because empathy, it brings out hope. If you really think about it, it brings out the notion that because there's still so much good out there, that we still have a chance to be able to have a better future for ourselves, whether it's through community, whether it's through individual lives changing, a better understanding of what being good is. And the more people more good people out there, again, the more I myself have that faith in humanity restored. So yeah. And on top of that, I get to feel good about myself as well, or not about myself. Well, yeah, I guess, because I like I said, I'm a small, minute drop of positivity being added into a huge bucket. So yeah. Plus, it's just great feeling like that all around, especially in these days. And let me tell you something. This whole weather here in Northern California ain't helping either. It's I feel like it's just like a response to, I take it, personally myself, but it's like the cloudiness and these gray dark skies. It's just a visual representation of how I myself have been feeling. So if you think about it as every person is their own world, then I take it as though those gray skies are just like, yeah, this is how you've been feeling lately, bud. Which is why I'm waiting for sunnier days. So hopefully that'll come soon, but it doesn't seem like this week is going to be any different with the weather here. So I guess that's that. Nonetheless, let's start today's show. Coffee the News and Us, like I mentioned before, episode 50. It's June 12th, 2023. Really quickly, you guys know I'm all across social media: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. If you want to further support me, you can use your Amazon Prime here on Twitch. That's Twitch Prime. Or you can follow me here on Twitch. Bam. That'll notify you when I go live, and that way you won't miss out on any of the live streams. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like my videos, comment on them. Let me know what you think. Share it out to your loved ones. Share it out on your own platforms. Help me get the word out for the King Angel Show. Let's hang out. Depending on how everything goes, it will definitely be changing, especially X schedules. Trying to come up with a nice, witty name for what would be the opposite of Coffee, the News, and Us. So if you have any suggestions, dude, let me know. Just write it down in chat and let me know what you think of what the similarity of Coffee, the News, and Us would be, but nighttime. If you want to further support me even more, you can join my Patreon community. I have a 7-day free trial going on right now that you can participate in. If you like what you see, then you can just remain a member, and that's, again, $2 a month. It'll help me out immensely. Whole bunch of benefits with it. You get full unedited episodes, plus the audio versions of them. Pictures I only upload to Patreon. Playlists and videos that are only for Patreon members. Discord channels that are associated to Patreon, so it links you automatically and gives you access to private Patreon member channels that we watch movies, documentaries, science-based. Same thing that we do in the, public part of the Discord as well, but for Patreon members only. And also you get access to the full Discord, which is King Angel's Entertainment Lounge, which is the next thing. It's free. We watch movies, album listens, a little bit of everything, documentaries, science, space. Soon, this week I'm doing just like hanging out, watching some TikTok videos. Just a general hangout, debate, argument. My goal is through entertainment and, interesting topics, that great minds to come together to argue and debate and have conversations about things. So I am desperately looking for active Discord chatters at this point. Don't just join the Discord and not talk. Like, I visualize it as a place of, again, like these great minds, great, people that are interested in these different topics like science and space and have their own opinions about it. Obviously done with respect and understanding that people can have different opinions from you. But parting from that point, we can have, like I said, great conversations and talk about things and, that back and forth of ideas and, watch a movie and laugh about it and stuff, a hangout spot that, pursues the longing and hunger for not only knowledge, but also the talking about knowledge and talking about things that you know and talking about things that interest you and topics and true crime, science, space, music, movies, different cultures, different countries, that a random documentary would interest you about any topic and that a conversation can flourish from that point. Because it's all about conversing. And again, that's what sets us apart from basically the animal kingdom is the fact that we can be able to have a conversation about things, that we're able to communicate. We have our own mind and our own thoughts about things. Again, all done with immense respect and acceptance of other people's ideas. Oh. Dude. Adding to that, being a safe space for the LGBTQIA plus community, marginalized communities, people of color, minorities, all coming together. Great minds debating great ideas while being entertained at the same time. That's my goal. That's my dream. That's my wish, and I know it's gonna happen. And with your help, it'll definitely happen. So, like I said, join the Discord, King Angel's Entertainment Lounge. You can find all those links in the description box of the live stream or in the About section if you're watching me on Twitch. That's about it. With my informative part of everything. Let's start with... I always have to have... It's funny how for live streams, I always have to have something either to kind of like break or something. Because if you notice, I'll look down when I'm talking, but then I'll look back up. But it's mostly because I have something I'm playing with. In this case, it's the paper I tore apart from Random Topic Day from Friday. And yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's like a little... how can I describe that? It's not a defense mechanism per se, but it's more like it's just like something you do when you're like a little anxious and whatnot, and when you're talking about things that make you feel a little uncomfortable. I'm not really prone to talking about myself like that. I've learned. See, I did it right there. I've learned how to do it being in front of a camera with you. Yeah. I don't like a pity. I don't like when people inadvertently think less of you because you're going through something. And there's lots of people that like to take your situation and like you're going through and use it and twist it to make themselves feel better because they're not in that situation. Kind of like a haha. You're going through hell, but I'm doing great. So, today's episode, I'll dedicate it to everyone that's not doing great. Everyone that's not doing okay. Everyone that has something going on with themselves or in their family or in their personal life. You know, fucking going through hell and shit. It's hard. It's hard. And I may not be going through what you're going through. We're all experiencing this reality differently. Just know that some of us are going through our own like personal shit. Like, it's fucking hell. But nonetheless, fuck it. Enough with that. We're gonna do some good news today. Have some positivity going on, because jeez. Switching over to the other screen. Alright, so we'll start with Good News Network today. Look how cool that quote is. So if a window of opportunity appears, don't pull down the shade. Like Tom Peters. How do you know it's an opportunity? I mean, obviously, I get the definition of the word, but I don't know, sometimes opportunities are disguised amongst other things. Oh, thank you so much, it's Leaflo. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Hope you're having a great day and happy Monday. Man, nonetheless, still a pretty good quote. So let's see. Dang. Alright, so we'll start off, again, goodnewsnetwork.org. 4 Colombian children found alive in jungle 5 weeks after plane crash. Written by Andy Corbley. Published today, June 12, 2023, so it says. Four Colombian children from an indigenous community who survived a plane crash have been found alive after being lost 5 weeks in the jungle. Dang. GNN reported 2 weeks ago about the flight of four Colombian children who miraculously survived a plane crash that killed all three adults on board. Wow. At the time, rescuers were hot on their trail, and unconfirmed reports said they might have been found in the Guaviare province. But now the military rescue squad, who had found castaway items they were using to survive, finally managed to locate the youths and bring them home after a harrowing 5 weeks in the jungle. Sounding like the beginning of a young adult novel series, the crash took place on May 1st on a route between the cities of Araquara in Amazonas province and San Jose del Guaviare, a city in Guaviare province. It took 2 weeks for Colombian military and rescue units to locate the crashed Cessna 206 light aircraft. The units followed a trail of castaway items, including a baby bottle, hair scrunchies, scissors, and plastic wrapping, to several areas where the children, aged 13, 9, and 4, along with a 12-month-old baby, sheltered and found food to eat. Narciso Mukutui, the grandfather of the 3 girls and 1 boy, told reporters he was delighted at the news of their rescue. As a grandfather to my grandchildren who disappeared in the jungles of the Yari, at this moment I am very happy, he said. A joy for the whole country, Colombia's president Gustavo Petro said in a message via Twitter. The children had some knowledge of where to look for food and shelter from their indigenous backgrounds. Oh, you look at that, huh? I have a little video too. Dude, that is so awesome. And yeah, you can hear the thing, but the leaf blower. You know what else I can hear? I hear the sounds of executives coming together in a movie production company office right now. At this very moment. And they're reading the news and like, oh my goodness, we can make a movie out of this. And let me tell you something. That'd be a pretty damn good movie if they would make it like completely faithful to the, what actually happened. Because wow, this would make for a pretty good feel good family kind of movie, even within its own like tragedy. And shout out to the kids for shout out to the parents of the kids and the descendants of these indigenous tribes for showing the children how to have some basic knowledge in regards to food and shelter. Let me tell you something. In Dominican Republic, you learn pretty quickly. Maybe not survival tips, but food tips. Whew, yeah, you learn extremely quickly. So we have a lot of things that grow on plants back home. So if you ever find yourself in a situation in Dominican Republic, feel free to just look up or kind of look really well, because you'll probably find plantains and mangoes, and you'll find a way to survive with fruits and vegetables there. Maybe not a huge number of things, but you'll find things to survive. Taking into consideration, it's Dominican Republic. We have one of the most fertile soils in this side of the world. Actually, 80% of the things that you plant in Dominican Republic grow. I'm gonna mute myself so I can let the leaf blower pass. Hold on. So you're just gonna hear the music because I can hear him. He's standing right outside. Sorry, he's still going. He's almost done, but let's see. All right, we're good. That was like his last hoorah right there. All right, let's watch this video real quick.
Colombian soldiers found 4 children alive in the country's south on Friday, more than 5 weeks after they survived a deadly plane crash in a thick jungle. Photos the military shared appear to show troops feeding the children, who were siblings aged 13, 9, 4, and a now 12-month-old baby. The grandfather of the 3 girls and 1 boy was elated at the news of their rescue.
Alegría porque
We are happy because this situation didn't let us sleep, didn't let us be happy. We couldn't talk. When we found the children, we felt joy. We don't know what to do, but we are grateful to God.
The children were the only survivors of a plane crash which killed 3 others, including the pilot and their mother. The Cessna plane they were on, which was on a route between Araraquara and San Jose del Guaviare, crashed in the early hours of May 1st due to an engine failure. It sparked rescue operations involving Colombian Army and Air Force helicopters and planes. Rescuers previously found discarded fruit the children ate to survive, as well as improvised shelters. Colombia's President Gustavo Petro said the children are now receiving medical attention and may travel to Bogota or back home to Villavicencio once they're declared fit enough.
Wow. Round of applause for those kids. Dude, that's what's up, man. I mean, they were able to create a shelter for themselves and food, and that's how they were able to be found. They the military found the discarded fruit that they were eating, and that led them to the shelter that they had created for themselves. Man, that's what's up. I'm very glad that they were found. I mean, again, surrounded by tragedy, but even within that, they were able to make it through. Damn. A little inspiring if you think about it. All right, let's check this one out. This one's pretty interesting. Same, goodnewsnetwork.org. Some people are magnets for mosquitoes. It could be the soap they're using. Written by Good News Network, published June 11th, 2023. Listen, if you've ever been to Dominican Republic, I am Dominican. Yeah, mosquitoes are just part of the whole. It's part of the deal that we made with the universe. You give us hot, beautiful weather, fertile land. You give us beautiful beaches, amazing food. But, you know, with positives, you have to have a negative. And our negative is, like, the amount of mosquitoes that are in Dominican Republic. Holy shit. And, of course, we have dengue in Dominican Republic. So, I've talked about it here before. You have to have certain steps that you take to be able to store water. You can't just store clean water like that because mosquitoes will come out. You can't leave it uncovered. You have to clean the barrel before you put it in with there's a specific liquid that's sold back home, and that's what you clean it with, so that it can obviously prevent that dengue from growing in clean water. Or water that's just like standstill water. That's just like there. And it's really bad. If you are a tourist that's ever been to Dominican Republic, I'm pretty sure you already experienced the relentlessness of mosquitoes. Bro, they don't give a shit. They don't care. Mosquitoes are ever present in every corner of Dominican Republic. It doesn't matter where you go. You can be in Punta Cana, in the nicest tourist spot, or you can be in any other place, and yeah, you're gonna have a whole bunch of mosquitoes there. We sleep with, well, a lot of people sleep with, they call them like mosquiteros, but they're like mosquito tents, and you put them outside of your bed, basically. So you wrap yourself or the bed in and of itself with the mosquito tent, and you sleep in it. And it helps out a lot, but if the mosquito gets inside that mosquito tent, you're fucked. Because it's not getting out. And yeah, there's nothing worse than that mosquito sounds when you're sleeping, or in general, but especially when you're sleeping, that... Oh, fuck, dude, I hate it. I hate it. Back home, I got accustomed to sleeping with my basically my shoulders covering my ears, so I'll just sleep like this. And as I'm any side I move to, yeah, I'll keep my shoulders over my ears. Like, I'd rather them bite me than have that sound just creeping, because sometimes if they're big you can hear it coming, but other times it's just very silent, and all of a sudden it's just it's like, oh fuck yeah. So yeah, mosquitoes, huh? Let's see what they have to say about why mosquitoes are attracted to people, and apparently it has to do with soap. So, why some people are mosquito magnets might be due to which soap they use in the shower, according to new research, as the pesky insects fly towards or away from specific aromas. It's remarkable the same individual that is extremely attractive to mosquitoes when they are unwashed can be turned even more attractive to mosquitoes with one soap, said senior author Dr. Clement Vinegar. Then, they become repellent or repulsive. Why is he doing it again, though? Or repulsive to mosquitoes with another soap. The results of the team's experiments found that washing with Dove and Simple Truth increased the attractiveness of some of the volunteers, while the smell of the native brand tended to deter the bloodsuckers, according to the team at Virginia Tech. Commenting on the many theories for why some people attract mosquitoes while others get off bite-free, co-author Dr. Chloe Lowandir says it's not easy to pinpoint a specific reason. Everybody smells different, even after the application of soap. Your psychological status, the way you live, what you eat, and the places you go all affect the way you smell. And soaps drastically change the way we smell, not only by adding chemicals, but also by causing variations in the emission of compounds that we are already naturally producing. A series of experiments found soaps did impact mosquitoes' preferences. Chemicals emitted by 4 human volunteers were analyzed both before and an hour after they'd applied body washes by Dial, Dove, Native, and Simple Truth. Okay, I guess they'll show the specifics below. Odor profiles of the soaps themselves were also broken down by chemical. So, it says, choose a coconut-scented soap. Each participant emitted their own unique odor, some of which were more attractive to mosquitoes than others. Soap washing significantly changed these, and not only by adding floral fragrances to the mix. You know, it's, while we're on the subject, it's crazy what love does to you, because you know when you love someone, like for reals, when they're the smell they emit, not like body odor and shit, because if you stink you stink, but I'm like your natural like fragrance, let's call it that, intoxicates you. That's fucking crazy. That's when you know it's love, or equivalent to love. It happens. I mean, it's hard to believe, but it's actually true. And some people produce like pheromones. Like, watch, let's see. It's the first rabbit hole we go down today. So, okay. So the question I asked is, how does one's body smell attract others? Pheromones are chemical messengers produced and emitted by the body that contribute significantly to interpersonal attraction. The two types of pheromones include signal and primer, each playing a distinct role in human behavior. So, let's see. Hold on. Okay, so this is an article by GQ. This is one of the reasons why I am more convinced of the, dang, just left my head, but the similarity between one's natural fragrance to how much it attracts someone else. So, the title of if they let me read it, because I don't know if this is behind like a paywall, but this is from, again, GQ.com. It's you might not agree, but science says you're attracted to body odor. It sounds wrong, but it's actually right. It was written by Adam Hurley. This was published March 12, 2018. It says, no, I'm not crazy. Yes, sometimes people are attracted to other people's special brands of human smell. It sounds weird, but every so often a chemically compatible match comes along and you get all caught up in a phenomenon we're calling body odor attraction. And no, you're not alone. Actually, anyone who denies this is the outlier here. That's the power of the musk. So, alright. So, I might be embellishing a little. I don't mean to imply that you should revel in the smell of your partner's undeodorized underarms, which is what I mentioned before. So, again, it's not like body odor that you produce after you like sweat and shit, because obviously it's not. I mean, albeit we don't fetish shame here as long as it's consensual and it's done by adults, obviously. So I know that there are people that have that fetish. More power to you. But keeping it at a natural body fragrance to attraction. That's keeping it at that point. There is science behind it, which is what we're reading right now. So, it says here, so some people do though. I've met them, and to that I say more power to you. Bam. But you've probably noticed at some point that you didn't hate the natural musk of a potential mate. Or maybe there's no smell at all, but just being near this person feels intoxicating because of whatever he or she is radiating. There are a lot of debates about whether humans secrete pheromones the same way animals do. Some fragrance brands attempt to bottle synthesized pheromones with the promise that it'll help you attract a mate, which is what Axe did. And that was like their whole advertisement campaign. It was the fact that like the whole marketing thing was men would put this Axe on them and they would have all these women attracted to them and whatnot, and all the women were like, oh my god, well, he's wearing Axe. Yeah. So again, that's just one example of how they try to capitalize on something that happens naturally. Okay. I wanted to learn more about the pheromonal phenomenon, if it was real, so I asked Lindsay Bordone, MD, assistant professor of dermatology at Columbia University Medical Center. Dermos are well versed in hormones and endocrinology. Here's what she had to say about pheromones and attraction. Humans don't have functioning vomeronasal organ, she says, which is what other animals use to detect pheromones secreted by another animal of the same species. Instead, we sense smells via the olfactory system. Perceivable smells likely do play a role in attraction, or lack of attraction, in people. So while some in-heat animals lift their tail and toot out some horny pheromonal signals, we evolved slightly differently. Our evolutionary assets include Tinder, Grindr, and Instagram DMs. Okay. Well, I mean, that's for you singles out there. So, then it's got to be something else, if not pheromones. Here's some truth about BO and attraction, says Bourdon. It's not the odor you're actually attracted to. You might just be more forgiving of it because you're attracted to the other person and the overall underlying scent that is uniquely theirs. A recurring hypothesis regarding body odor and sexual attraction is that a person's immune system influences what he or she perceives as attractive, and also influences what their own unadulterated scent would be, minus all the personal care products. Quick side note on those personal care products. The favorable smells that make up a person's scent are more a combination of their body wash, shampoo, deodorant, fragrance, hair product, fabric softener sheets, and other scented products used throughout everyday life. While there is uniqueness to a person's scent, there are many other things that influence the final quote-unquote product. That is why you might instantly associate someone with the smell of their moisturizer that lingers when you kiss, or the inimitable blend of fresh products that trails him or her. So when you combine the mysteries of your immune system with the underlying quote-unquote scent that a person has from his or her own care regimen, you get a moderately more explicable basis for attraction. Someone might be secreting something from the immune system, perhaps pheromones, perhaps not, but you're not crazy to have a heightened sense of attraction for this person at this moment. And I stand still by the fact that sometimes you might be so crazy about a person that you forgive or even appreciate his or her musk. We're carnal beings after all. Then Bourdon hit me with this curveball. Some other theories hold that women's perception of smells changes during different points in the ovulation cycle. Conversely, it is theorized that women give off a different smell during periods of ovulation. The brain and olfactory system are very complex, so it is likely that there are many factors in this selection process. Alas, there's no conclusion on how to use any of this to your advantage, aside from putting yourself out there, maybe skipping the roll-on some days, or embracing what it adds to your own unique scent, and hoping for a compatible mate to saunter by and catch a whiff. But have no shame in appreciating the odor of another human. It's still a bit of a mystery, yes, but you can consider science officially on your side. Love it. Let me tell you something. I think it's true. I think it's 100% true. I think that with the one you love, it's different. It's just, there's just like, it's something about that, like, scent that they have. It's crazy. And I don't even know how to explain it. It's like something that isn't like a, like a perv kind of thing. I mean, obviously there's people that take everything to extremes, but when it's like in a like normal kind of situation, it's that uniqueness of it. Like the person you love has that certain smell that it's just no one else has. Maybe it's love. Maybe it's love blinding us. Maybe it's love that adds to the mix, and like the article that we just read right now says that we just become more accepting or forgiving of a person's odor. But I think that it's also that it's theirs. So it's like something, like I said, unique. Which is why, for example, you see in movies when something happens, like a tragedy or someone breaks up or something, and the heartbreak and shit, and they always smell. Well, it's not, it happens in real life too, but people like smell like someone's clothing and stuff because it smells like them. And again, it's not like it smells like ass, but I mean, because if it does, then that person's serious. Wasn't as clean as you thought they were. But I mean, like in a normal circumstance, it's that unique smell of someone that you love. It's fucking beautiful. Again, could be love. It could just be love blinding us. Ooh. This goes hand in hand with the article that we just read about, We haven't finished it yet, but we'll sidestep a little bit and watch a video about the same subject. So it's some people are magnets for mosquitoes. It could be the soap they're using. That led us to talking about and reading about the relationship between someone's unique natural fragrance to attraction. But let's see what CNN says about mosquitoes. Title says what mosquitoes are most attracted to, and human body odor is revealed. CNN.com. This was published Monday, May 22nd, 2023, and was written by Kate Golembiewski. Again, for CNN.com. Let's watch the video. This is an ad. So while this ad plays, it says, anyone who has spent a summer evening swatting away mosquitoes or a summer day scratching mosquito bites can agree. Mosquitoes stink. But the smells produced by humans are an important part of what draws mosquitoes to us. In a scientific report published Friday, scientists helped pinpoint the different chemicals in body odor that attract these insects by building an ice rink-sized testing arena and pumping in the scents of different people. Oh, wow.
Who just gets... Okay, we all know that one person who just gets eaten alive by mosquitoes. Maybe it's you. I'm one of them. But now we're learning more about why.
You know, I'm also convinced... Well, that's my own theory, because I smoke a lot of weed. I think I'm convinced that they don't like... I used to think the contrary, because people used to say that you were more prone to being bit by a mosquito if you smoked weed because of something like... Listen, they used to say like it made your blood taste sweeter. It's the same thing as eating like sweets and stuff. But cannabis specifically, it's... I wouldn't understand why that would attract a mosquito more. Like, how does that work? What correlation is there between cannabis and mosquitoes? Personally, I think that mosquitoes don't really fuck with me like that. And I think it's because I smoke weed. It's a completely untested theory, but it's just something I've noticed with time. It's not to say that they don't bite me like that, but I'm not as bad as people that I know that don't smoke weed at all. Maybe it's in my head. Who knows?
New study says it could have everything to do with how you smell. CNN's Tom Foreman is here to explain. I know there are a lot of people wondering why they're a mosquito magnet. Tom?
Of course,
help
this
us
is
understand.
really exciting research out of Rockefeller University up in New York, where they do a lot of great work on this. What they have found is that skin odor has a definite attractiveness to mosquitoes in some people. How definite? So much so that in some cases they say the people who attract the mosquitoes are 100 times more attractive than other people nearby in that circumstance. Now, what is it about skin odor that makes a difference? They put these sleeves on people and then collected their skin odor and then tested them against mosquitoes, and they found that what it was a type of fatty acid called carboxylic acid. What do carboxylic acids do? Carboxylic acids really, really draw mosquitoes. Only female mosquitoes, by the way. Male mosquitoes do not bite. And they give a slight odor, these acids, of cheese and feet, which doesn't sound that attractive to begin with. If the mosquitoes aren't bothering you, you might have another problem. But here's the thing, Anna. The mosquitoes, they even tried to say, what if we could somehow cut off the receptor?
Bro, for a moment there, I thought that they were talking about stinky feet. I thought that the carboxylic acids were they were drawing mosquitoes to people with stinky feet, because they show a piece of cheese and underneath it they just put a foot there. I guess that's not what they were talking about.
On these mosquitoes, so they couldn't really smell it as well. Didn't matter. They had backup systems. They still went after these people more than anybody else. So now the question is, can you come up with some sort of a blocking lotion or something that people could put over their skin that would suppress this so at very least these people are not more attracted to mosquitoes than anybody else, and maybe you can get to where they're not so attractive. Big, important deal, because remember, mosquitoes, aside from just being a nuisance and being uncomfortable, 700 million people per year suffer from mosquito-borne diseases like Zika and dengue and malaria. So this is big news. It may seem funny in a way, but in other ways, could be really important, Anna.
Yeah, I'm laughing because I admitted at the beginning of the segment that I'm one of those people.
I got dengue once, and that shit was, that's hardcore. I mean, they had to, I was hospitalized and everything for like 4 days. It was really bad. That dengue, don't fuck around.
Who gets bit all the time, and apparently I'm putting off an odor of cheese and feet.
Well, I guess when you go to the beach next time, if you have to,
I'm going to tell my husband that we learned that it means you're extra sweet and have a wonderful scent.
Yes, that would be a good play at this point. So anyway, exciting news, and hopefully next spring when we're all dealing with this, maybe we've made some more progress on figuring out if there's some way to stop this.
I don't know. Let's see. So, see, mosquitoes are part of the fly family, and most of the time they feed on nectar. The music back on. However, females preparing to produce eggs need a meal with extra protein. Blood. Damn. Real life vampires, huh? Best case scenario, getting bitten will just leave you with an itchy red bump, but mosquito bites often turn deadly, thanks to parasites and viruses the insects transmit. One of the most dangerous of these diseases is malaria. Malaria is a blood-borne disease caused by microscopic parasites that take up residence in red blood cells. When a mosquito bites a person infected with malaria, it sucks up the parasite along with the blood. After developing in the mosquito's stomach, the parasite will migrate to the salivary glands and then be spat back out into the skin of another human host when the mosquito blood feeds again. Yeah, it sounds like a horror movie. Said Dr. Connor McMenamin, an assistant professor of molecular microbiology and immunology at Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health and Johns Hopkins Malaria Research Institute in Baltimore. Listen to this part. Malaria has been eradicated in the United States in the past century thanks to the window screens, air conditioning, and improvements to drainage systems where mosquitoes' aquatic larvae can grow. But the disease remains a danger to much of the world. Malaria still accounts for more than 600,000 deaths per year, mostly in children under the age of 5 years, and also pregnant women, said McMenamin, the senior author of the new study published in the journal Current Biology. It inflicts a lot of suffering around the world, and part of the motivation for the study was to try and really understand how mosquitoes that transmit malaria are finding humans. I want to see if they kind of... Okay, so... We were really motivated to try and develop a system where we could study the behavior of the African malaria mosquito in a naturalistic habitat, reflective of its native home in Africa, McMenamin said. The researchers also wanted to compare the mosquito's smell preferences across different humans, to observe the insect's ability to track scents across distances of 66 feet, which is about 20 meters, and to study them during their most active hours, between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. Man, those fuckers. To tick all these boxes, the researchers created a screened facility the size of a skating rink. Dotting the perimeter of the facility were 6 screened tents where study participants would sleep. Air from their tents, carrying the participants' unique breath and body odor scents, was pumped through long tubes to the main facility onto absorbent pads, warmed and baited with carbon dioxide to mimic a sleeping human. Hundreds of mosquitoes in the main 20 by 20 meter facility were then treated to a buffet of the sleeping subject's scents. Infrared cameras tracked the mosquitoes' movement to the different samples. The mosquitoes used in the study were not infected with malaria, and they couldn't reach the sleeping humans. The researchers found what many who have been on a picnic would attest to. Some people attract more mosquitoes than others. What's more, chemical analysis of air from the tents revealed the odor-causing substances behind the mosquitoes' attraction, or lack thereof. The mosquitoes were most attracted to carboxylic acids, including butyric acid, a compound present in stinky cheeses such as Limburger. These carboxylic acids were produced by bacteria on human skin and tend not to be noticeable to us. Let's see, while carboxylic acids attracted the mosquitoes, the insects seemed to be deterred by another chemical called eucalyptol, which is present in plants. The researchers suspected that one sample with a high eucalyptol concentration might have been related to the diet of one of the participants. Simulundu said that finding a correlation between the chemicals present in different people's body odor and the mosquitoes' attraction to those scents was very interesting and exciting. Okay, so what foods have carboxylic acids? Carboxylic acids are widespread in nature. For example, acetic acid is present in vinegar, malic acid is found in apples, lactic acid is present in sour milk, and citric acid is contained in citrus fruits such as lemons, oranges, and grapefruits. Huh. Interesting. Let's see. Many carboxylic acids occur naturally in plants and animals. Okay. Citrus fruits such as oranges and lemons contain citric acid. I get that. So I guess it's... Wow. It's no wonder there's so many mosquitoes in the Dominican Republic. There will be a lot of mangoes and a lot of oranges and a lot of fruit. It's no wonder those mosquitoes love us. Let's see. Let's see. So I think this is what I read before, so I'll just repeat it again. It's many carboxylic acids are present in the foods and drinks that humans ingest, like malic acid found in apples, tartaric acid, grape juice, oxalic acid, spinach, and some parts of the rhubarb plant, and lactic acid, which is sour milk. Very interesting. Wow, so us Dominicans, we're just fucked. That's just basically what they're trying to tell us. Like, there would be no possible way for us to ever not be attractive to mosquitoes, because this is literally a whole bunch of shit that we eat in Dominican Republic on a day-to-day basis. Wow, isn't that something, huh? That is crazy. Okay, so let's see. Right, so this is going back to the article that we were reading beforehand about the mosquitoes and soap. Trying to see where they go into a more... Okay, so the study published in iScience identified 4 chemicals associated with mosquito attraction. 3 chemicals repulsed the mosquito, including a coconut scent in American bourbon and a floral compound used to treat scabies and lice. The 2 soaps advertised as more natural, which were Simple Truth and Native, tended to be less chemical-heavy soaps. For example, a lower abundance of saturated and unsaturated hydrocarbons, such as alkanes and alkenes, than Dial and Dove. Okay, so 4 body washes were selected based on their brand popularity and fragrance. So the first one was Dial Body Wash with Marula Oil. The second one was Dove Deep Moisture Nourishing Body Wash. Number 3 was Simple Truth Organic Honey Blossom Baby Shampoo and Body Wash. And number 4 is Native Coconut and Vanilla Body Wash. Okay, this is graph with the, I guess, total abundance. It has all four. Obviously, the first one is unwashed. Then we have first one, second one is dial. Third one is dove. Simple truth fourth, and native is fifth. I guess they'll give us a better explanation now. So they were combined to create and test attractive and repellent odor blends, which had strong impacts on the preference of the insects from the Aedes aegypti species. With these mixtures, we eliminated all the noise in the signal by only including those chemicals that the statistics were telling us are important for attraction or repulsion, said Vinegar. However, the effect of soap applications on the proportion of landing observed was a function of the interaction between the soap and the volunteer. Specifically, fewer mosquitoes landed on either sleeve when volunteer 1 was washed with either Dial, Simple Truth, or native soap than when only their unwashed scent was presented. So it says, I would choose a coconut scented soap if I wanted to reduce mosquito attraction. Interesting. So basically, Dial, Simple Truth, and native soap all attracted more mosquitoes than the coconut scented soap, which is the native coconut and vanilla body wash. Pretty interesting, because all this is literally products on the market that people buy on a day-to-day basis without really knowing or realizing. These are all things sold in Dominican Republic as well, so it's a lot of people not realizing that the soap that they're using is attracting more mosquitoes than what they thought was attracting, which I guess makes sense. There's so many explanations as to why mosquitoes are attracted to more people than other. Back home, they say, again, like I mentioned before, it's that you eat too many sweets. So apparently if you eat too much sweets, mosquitoes are more attracted to you, which is, I guess, could be kind of true in a certain way. If soaps are able to attract mosquitoes like that, I wouldn't be surprised. All right, we'll move on to the next topic. You guys know how I feel about anything that has to do with the ocean and ocean life and whatnot, so this is right down my alley. GoodNewsNetwork.org. Scientists amazed by sighting of an extremely rare jellyfish only seen once before. Wow, look at it. Does this not look like something from Metroid? I mean, this is a sci-fi creator's dream. Just like being inspired by things that actually exist and just going with it and creating so many things from that point on, because you have the opportunity to do it, because obviously there's so many inspirations. I mean, look at this. Would you not think that this could be part of a sci-fi movie or something? I'm telling you. And look how eerie it looks. Just a red, well, semi-red with kind of like a, and I'm describing it for Patreon members that are hearing the audio version of this. Again, I thank you very much. That means you are a Patreon member, and I appreciate your support. But yeah, it's a red sack, basically, a ballish sack that's predominantly red, but it has sort of like a dark kind of portion of the ball that's a darker color. Looks kind of like bluish black, but it either could be represented as the actual like creature being, and I call it creature. I mean, I don't know the name of it though. I mean, I guess we could call it like a rare jellyfish, but it looks like a eerie like space creature. It could be backwards. This could well be that it's just swimming and it was photographed in that moment, or it could actually be that it has the could we call it legs, because it kind of does look like thin crab legs. It's only 3 of them, like coming out of a portion of that whole like reddish ball. And again, this is a science fiction novelist, writer. I don't know, man. Freaking video game creator. Movie production companies. Dream right here. They don't even have to go so far as to creating things out of thin air. Bam, you have your new final boss for something right here, or a boss of a game. Beautiful. So a group of scientists were left amazed after the sighting of an extremely rare jellyfish that was only seen once before. The team of experts spotted the animal during an expedition by the Ocean Exploration Trust, a non-profit dedicated to marine exploration and research. The video below captures the moment and shows the bizarre-looking creature slowly making its way through the depths, as a team of experts is left entranced at the sight of it. One scientist can be heard exclaiming, "Whoa, what is that?" while the vehicle they're operating remotely first encounters the jellyfish. "I've never seen anything like that," another can be heard saying. "I have no idea what it is." The animal was sighted on May 31st in the deep and remote Pacific Ocean, 130 miles from the nearest landmark, Kingman Reef, which is 4,800 miles away from Australia. Classified and undescribed, quote-unquote, because it has no name or detailed description by any researchers, the species has only ever been seen once, on a 2015 expedition by the Ocean Exploration Trust. It distinguishes itself from other jellyfish by 3 long tentacles sprouting at an odd angle from the top of its head. Oh, that's the top of its head. Gotcha. It is also surprisingly believed to prey on other jelly-like animals, such as other jellyfish and swimming sea cucumbers, using its long tentacles to catch prey. Ooh. Dr. Dougal Lindsay, a research scientist with the Japan Agency for Marine Earth Science and Technology, commented on the creature's strange tentacles, saying, "This is extremely rare for a jellyfish, as they are normally radially splittable into pizza slices with even rather than odd numbers. They hold the tentacles in front of them as they swim, so that the tentacles come into contact with their large gelatinous prey before the bow wave of the water they push before them as they swim reaches it, and it senses this water movement and escapes. A kind of stealth predation, so to speak. This new species is believed to be part of the Bathychorus genus, but does not match any other species of this kind due to its brown color. Oh, it's supposed to be brown. At this point, it's really anyone's guess. Let's watch this video.
The jellyfish right above. Still can't.
Try to make this a little bit bigger.
Ooh.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Bro, look at that.
I do a little.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god. Oh my goodness.
You see why I say?
Yeah, go ahead and do like a
We don't have to go that far.
What is that?
Can we turn the lasers off?
I'd have
Wow.
never seen anything like that.
And it has
It's
that
like-
jet propulsion characteristic of a jellyfish.
I mean, that is a
Layla,
jelly.
you okay with the lasers off?
Lasers off.
Oh, that's
yes.
pretty.
Ooh, look at that.
Look at
But
that.
Bro, look at that.
inside. That just like collapsed in on itself.
Wow, that is so freaky.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome.
I've never seen one with this many arms. I mean,
Well,
it's only
they're
3, but
not
still.
arms. They must be modified tentacles.
Bro, modified tentacles. What are you talking about? Does that not sound like extremely freaky to you in a general sense? But again, to those that are just hearing the audio version of it, again, it's very weird to look at. I'll post a link of the actual live stream on the Patreon post, and I'll include the link to this specific article so that you can see the video. But when it kind of like goes sideways and you can see the inside of it, it looks like a darkish red, kind of like a wine red with like white spots inside of it. But the way that it just like kind of like moves, it doesn't seem to be very big. So I don't know, just picture like this small kind of creature looking thing with just like kind of like opening and closing as it just like drifts in the sea. This is, again, fascinating to see, fascinating to, you know, kind of grasp the idea that we've come so far with technology that we're able to find these new like animals and creatures and like all this like ocean wildlife and whatnot. But the more we discover them, the more we can safely agree that it is quite fascinating. But bro, these are some extremely weird looking creatures. Like, why is he coming through this with the leaf blower again? Why? I don't understand why. I'm confused. You already did this. How many times like are you gonna just blow the leaves that you already blew off of the place back in? I'm not understanding. Got me fucked up. Nonetheless, I'm sorry for that. But you can hear it though. Like, it's fucking annoying though. Like, I understand you gotta do what you gotta do, and he's doing his job, and I'm appreciative of that. But how many times are you gonna come through the same place to do the same thing? There's only so many leaves. It's not fall.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. And then
Hold on, I'm gonna put the music and I'm gonna mute the video. Here, I'll put it a little bit louder. Still going, and it's extremely annoying. So I'll just enjoy the music for a little bit. We're still here. He turned it off, and I was like, yes, he's done. He's back with a bang. Almost done. Or at least I think he's almost done. That should be fine. Whatever. I apologize to you guys hearing the audio version of this. I am so sorry. I don't have a studio, so I gotta work with what I can, and with what I have. So I apologize for that. But moving on.
something else.
Oh, incredible.
Oh, a sea cucumber. What? Yeah, this is odd.
Incredible.
I have no idea what it is.
This is what I was really hoping for to see. Jellyfish are my favorite sea creatures.
Really?
This is awesome. Yeah, so Steve said a helmet jelly with less tentacles. That looks pretty it. But also the way the tentacles are protruding from the top, that is so cool.
Yeah, and like angled towards each other.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's so weird.
You say it's a helmet jelly?
Yes.
Yeah, we don't
but,
know what it is.
It reminds me of again, they mentioned it, like crab. They look like crab legs, like, but they're really thin. They sort of look sharp if you want to see it from that perspective. Again, it's just a very odd looking creature, and I don't know how they're not as easily freaked out as I am right now. Not, in huge amounts, but dude, this exists, and again, who the hell knows everything that's like really deep under there? We've only been able to discover a certain amount of like a certain amount of feet down. There's still so much that we don't know about, because it's really difficult to go so deep into the ocean. So this is just like a teaser basically. But could you imagine like something like this but 10 times bigger? We don't know. What the hell do you know? You don't know what's down there. If there is even like a down there, like how deep would that down there actually be? Because we only have theories up until this point. We haven't had anything go down so deep to be able to know how much, like how actually deep it is. Because they had a certain number, and they had a certain feet. I think it was up until like the 80s or something. And once they started discovering with newer technology and whatnot, just how much more deep the ocean actually is, that only begs the question: is like, what is down there? Will we ever discover the reality of what the ocean can produce? Because that is insane. Just imagine, it's creatures that have never touched like light before. So they were, and this is going to sound very corny, they were born in darkness, literally. They were born in pitch black darkness in the bottom of the ocean. And they just like form. They adapt to whatever environment they're in. And again, who the hell knows? This could be like a baby one. This could be like it was just born, and it just so happened to not be down there, and we were lucky enough to be able to see it. But for all we know, there could be a 10-foot version of this, just trenches of the deep ocean. There could be like completely transparent versions of sharks. What the fuck do we know? We don't know. There could be jellyfishes, dude. A few weeks ago we covered the what is it, what the fuck is like the gigantic Medusa that's has like tentacles that look like drapes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of things down there that we have absolutely no idea of. So yeah, hopefully one day we'll discover it. Hopefully one day we'll be able to create technology that could sustain the depths of the ocean enough for us to be able to get like brand new data about it. That's coming. I know that they're heavily working on it, and we could soon have more answers to the question of what is really down there. So ominous, but it's the reality. We have no idea what's down there.
Looks most closely to a helmet jelly. That's our educated guess, but I'm not sure because this is really interesting. Wow, look at that. It was really cool when it flipped to the side. You could see the red, the mouth part. Oh my gosh,
you know what's weird?
So beautiful.
It doesn't seem like it moves its tentacles.
Now I'm set. I'm gonna be a whale shark.
To be honest, it looks as if the tentacles were put on it, and it, like the jellyfish just kind of went with the flow. It's placed. It's just protruding from, I guess, what is the top of its head, and it looks like it should not have been there. That's what adds to the element of it looking weird.
I'm good. It's so neat. Such weird symmetry. Unless it like lost a fourth, I don't. Yeah, we definitely should we should take good images of this and send it to Dougal and see. Try to say,
taking some screenshots to post it on
pretty good imagery
Patreon.
on the Herc cam. It'd be so cool if we could get.
Oh, look at that! That is weird, dude.
Making a run for it.
It's I don't know. It's just so weird looking.
Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. Oh, and here it comes. Oh.
Wow, and it's going outside. Oh, dude. Again, bro.
Man. Very cool. Awesome. So hard to leave something like this. I know. And now we will just spend the rest of the time chasing this. Well, we're almost at the end of our watch.
Man, what a great job. I would love to have that job. Just like
incredible, right?
watching like live streams of things and just like giving your like okay. I guess that's what we do here now, but they actually get paid money for it. Albeit they do like research and shit, but
all right,
how fucking cool that is.
Say goodbye.
Oh, and while it was going away, it looks like the inside of it illuminates, so adds to the weird element. Well, that was that jellyfish. Let me know in chat what you guys thought about it. Move on to another. Care about any one of those 9 people in that picture. I give 2 shits about. You failed us. I wonder why. And I say it in reference to the title of that article over there. It says a survey reveals Americans are retiring earlier than they'd expected. We're still on goodnewsnetwork.org. Written by same Good News Network, published January 10th, 2023. Let's see why they are saying that people are retiring earlier. Americans are retiring earlier than they'd expected. That's according to a new survey of 2,000 retirees. The poll found that on average, people initially expected to retire at 63.2 years old, but instead did so at 61.5 years old, beating the median point by almost 2 years. 1 in 3, which is about 32%, said that they would have retired earlier if they'd have the chance. However, 51% admitted to having difficulties accepting the changes to their health as they age. Conducted by one poll on behalf of Clear Match Medicare, part of Health Plan 1, the random double opt-in survey found that 87% of retirees stayed out of the workforce after leaving it, while 22% reported it was difficult to let go of their previous employment. Kind of hard to believe this when you walk into a Home Depot and you see a literal 80-something-year-old person working. Or you go into a Walmart and it's the same thing. Speaking of Walmart, you go into, like, you're scrolling on TikTok, and how many videos? You can look it up. It's a search word. Like you can look that shit up. How many elderly citizens are working at Walmart? That people like create GoFundMe's for them and shit, so that they don't have to work anymore. It's a lot. Let me tell you something, and I'll let you in a little secret. Not a little secret, a little fear that I have personally. That is one of my biggest fears in life. One of my biggest fears in life is growing old and not being able to retire. Let me tell you that is looking retirement is looking extremely impossible at this point. Even with moving as many squares as you want to move, it's looking really hard. And I got to shout out fellow millennials. Y'all feeling this pain, huh? That again, I've mentioned it here before, the fact that we've been lied to this whole time. And yeah, now we're in the situation where we're watching all this unfold and we're like, oh shit, dude, it's really like, damn. The chances of people buying houses right now, it's really low. You know, having to accept that 65 will probably not be the age of retirement for people anymore. that it's looking extremely impossible at this point. And I only speak solely here in the States. I'm not talking about anywhere else. There are plenty of countries that are doing way better than we're doing. So shout out to you guys. You guys have your shit together. Here, specifically, it's not necessarily like that. So unfortunately, here we do have a lot of those situations happen. Especially more so towards like mid-south, like the South, Midwest and stuff like that. There are many towns where they have, Walmarts that employ elderly citizens. I shiver me timbers when that even pops into my head. Like, that could be a possibility. That could be something that could happen to me. Fucking out of your mind. I will go back to Dominican Republic and I will buy a choza somewhere and I will live as close to the beach as possible and I will feed from what the planet gives me if I have to, before I have to get to that point, because that's how it's looking here. It's really looking like that. Like, retirement is going to be something of the past. Maybe not for everyone. Maybe not for some, but for a good chunk of us, yeah, it's looking like retirement is becoming extremely more difficult than what it was before. So, yeah. I also think that a lot of people that are retiring, maybe they're doing it because they understand that, yeah, this isn't going to get any better. So, this might as well just take that step now and start enjoying their lives one way or another than to fall into that point of, working past a certain age. It's crazy. There was a time in our existence where people were able to have a job, sustain a family, buy a home, buy a car, live comfortably, middle class, send their kids to college, pay off said home, with jobs that right now you wouldn't even be able to sustain yourself, basically. Can't. Like minimum wage jobs at this point, in comparison to back then and how inflation has just like ruined the value of things. It's insane, man. That's why I was mentioning in the beginning of the video that it's really hard. For people in general right now, but I have a soft spot for millennials specifically, because we were fucking lied to. If you're over the age of 30, if you're a millennial, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. I fell for the lie as well. We all fell for it, and it's not that anymore. So yeah, I understand why they would retire earlier. Gotta start enjoying life somehow. Okay, so although 78% reportedly found fulfillment in their career, only 25% said they actively missed working. Half of respondents said they didn't miss it at all. Of the 13% that had returned to the workforce, 40% did so to occupy their time, while many did so to help family members, friends, or former employers, or for other reasons not outlined in the survey, like surviving. Also, cost of living goes with surviving, but medical expenses. Social Security is not enough to be able to, survive. Certainly can't pay a nursing home because they're ridiculously expensive. So that's out the picture right there. Options dwindle. I feel for these elderly citizens having to get these jobs because they can't survive. And I feel like I understand that they're trying to do it in a good sense and they're giving actual factual data, but damn, it sucks because, again, there are a lot of places that elderly citizens, they have to work. 80-something-year-olds at a Home Depot, making a copy for a key. Like, shout out to Home Depot for employing them. But that is a clear example of how the system has just failed us. It's failed us. There's no... What are you going to tell me? No, for realsies. What could you possibly... What excuse could you possibly give me that would equate to an 85-year-old person working? Imagine you went to war. Imagine you're a veteran. You spent your whole life, went to war, went to the military. You did all these things, and then you reach the age of 80 or 85. I'm not saying they're all veterans, but I've read cases of them of it being like that, and their checks are not enough, dude, and their Social Security checks are not enough, and a lot of people like to, point fingers at immigrants and shit like that, but eventually they're just gonna end up going back home. You have to live here. You feel me? Like, there is no escape if you really think about it, unless you become an expat and move somewhere else. But normally people don't do that. So, and it's when you're at a certain age, it's hard to take that choice. It's hard to just pack everything up and leave. So you find yourself in, you see those situations happen. And that is a clear example that there's something deeply wrong with the system. There is something deeply wrong with the way wealth is being distributed. There is something deeply wrong with the same services that at one point were supposed to basically be like some type of landing fall for these people. They can't afford anything anymore. That's crazy. It's crazy. We have the opportunity to be able to get a job and be able to kind of see ourselves out of the situation one way or another. Maybe not completely, but we have sort of a chance to be able to do it based off of, the fact that we're younger and whatnot. But what do you say when you're like 80? Like, you're 85, dude. Yeah. There's something deeply wrong with the system, because that it's not working. Okay, so and here's his last sentence. It says, only 1 in 4 returned to work because the cost of living had increased. My company begged me to do consulting for them. One respondent recounted in an open-ended response, while another said that their former boss called me back twice. Despite this, 44% of those polled admitted that the amount of money they saved up for retirement wasn't enough. %8% of those surveyed were currently enrolled in Medicare, available in the U.S. for people over 65. When asked to share their thoughts on the most common myths about retirement, 57% cited the belief that Social Security would totally cover their retirement, while almost half, 51%, brought up their mistaken assumption that all healthcare costs would be covered under Medicare. At a certain point in U.S. history, that was the deal. The deal was that you worked and you would have money taken out of your paycheck for Social Security. And then when you get old, you would be able to retire and cash out the Social Security money. That was the whole point. But because cost of living and inflation has gone up so much, whatever amount that you saved up that was taken out of Social Security back then, it's chump change at this point now when you compare it to how expensive things are now. When medical procedures are thousands and thousands of dollars. I mean, again, it doesn't matter what spectrum you're on. It doesn't matter what the fuck you believe in. It doesn't matter your political party. There's no possible way that you, in your own conscious mind, could be able to explain to me why an 85-year-old should be working. They have to pull themselves from their bootstraps. Bro, they can barely walk. No. Come on, be for real. Like, they were promised this. And now that it's being technically like cashed out at this point, it's bullshit money. They don't have, it's not enough to be able to sustain themselves. It's crazy. Bro, imagine working 40, 50 years of your life in and out, day in, day out, dude. Counting on that retirement money because you're going to be 65. Yeah. You're 65 and you're finally going to retire and all this shit. And the money that you have, the money that you made that was accumulated because of Social Security that was taken out and like being used for like Medicare and shit is not going to be enough for you to be able to do anything, because everything that once cost the amount of money that you would have been able to afford with that Social Security when it was created and all those subsequent years afterwards is now worth nothing. There are people that worked 40, 50 years of their lives and they get $1,000 a month, $1,500 a month. I don't know where there's anywhere that you could be able to sustain yourself with $15 a month when, what is it? Milk is like what, $8, $7? I could a gallon of milk. A little carton costs like what, $3.50, $4 for someone that's only making $1,500 a month. Doesn't own a home. You know, not everyone bought a home during the housing boom in the 40s and 50s here. So, yeah, man. It's, again, it all leads to the fact that the system has completely failed us. The system failed these people. It failed them completely and utterly. Like, yeah. That's why Social Security and Medicare is so important. That's why it's so important to them, because it was a promise made. It was a deal. It was the government at that point doing something for people. It was a way to get people to work because it gave them something to look forward to. But now they're at that age when they're expecting the looking forward to part, and it's not. There's nothing to look forward to. Even people with even those that saved up money enough for the future are now finding themselves in the position where they can't afford it. They can't afford the life that was promised to them because everything's so expensive now, and it doesn't seem like it's gonna go down. It doesn't seem like there's gonna be an end to any of this. It's just gonna keep getting worse and worse because we live in a capitalist society. This is capitalism, baby. I don't know what we're gonna do, but it's gonna consume us all, and it's going to spit us out, and rinse, repeat. Damn, feel horrible for that. It's also like vets too, man. Just imagine like coming back from war, dude, and you can't even get like a veteran's check. You can't even smoke weed. Bro, you went to war for a country. You can't even come back and smoke weed. Like, you can't, because it affects your veteran's check, and they take like your veteran benefits away. Like, what? Man, I feel for veterans. That sucks. And even they are having to fight for their own benefits and stuff, because even that is being threatened at this point now. Jeez. Ooh, moving on to the next topic. This seems pretty interesting. It says, sealed vial reveals the smell of ancient Rome with patchouli scents from the time of Jesus. GoodNewsNetwork.org, June 10th, published June 10th, 2023. Written by Good News Network. It says, a real whiff of ancient Rome from 2,000 years ago. Let me tell you something, sorry, before I go on. If you've ever been to Dominican Republic, this looks like a Mama Juana. I would like to present to you the Roman version of the Mama Juana. We make ours with tree barks and rum and stuff like that. This has patchouli in it. It's supposed to be a Roman perfume, but looks like alcohol. Okay, so a real whiff of ancient Rome from 2,000 years ago was unleashed as a sealed vial of Roman perfume has been opened, and a whiff of patchouli oil wafted through the air once again. The stopper, made of dolomite, a type of carbon, and a tight seal with bitumen, enabled the contents of the tiny glass container to be extraordinarily preserved. The vial was discovered with the ointment intact in a funerary urn in the Roman city of Carmo, today's Carmona, near Seville in Spain. It was discovered during an archaeological dig in a mausoleum that was found during the construction of a house on the Calle Sevillat. It had been preserved, solidified, inside a vessel carved in quartz, which was still perfectly sealed. It was a collective tomb, possibly belonging to an affluent family. In addition to numerous objects related to funeral rituals, the cinerary urns of 6 adult individuals, 3 women and 3 men, were found. In one of the urns, made of glass, over the cremated skeletal remains of a woman between 30 and 40 years old, a cloth bag had been placed containing 3 amber beads in a small quartz flask carved in the shape of an amphora containing the ointment. The truly extraordinary aspect of the find was that, 20 centuries later, it was still perfectly sealed, and that the solid residues of the perfume had been preserved inside, which made it possible for researchers to test every component of the find. Professor of Organic Chemistry at the University of Cordoba, Jose Rafael Ruiz Arebola, was able to analyze the sample, and the results were published in the journal Heritage. To work out what was in the perfume, Professor Arebola and his team used X-ray diffraction and gas chromatography coupled with mass spectrometry. Beyond identifying the airtight bitumen seal and the cylindrical stopper made of dolomite, 2 components of the perfume were identified. The base, or binder, which allowed for the preservation of the aromas, and the essence itself, was a vegetable oil, or possibly olive oil, according to some indications reflected in the analysis. The results of chemical analysis showed the essence itself was patchouli, an essential oil obtained from a plant of Indian origin that is used in modern perfumery. The monumental characteristics of the tomb and the valuable material used for the vessel containing the oil suggests that it was a highly valuable product. To our knowledge, this is possibly the first time a perfume from Roman times has been identified, said Arebola. This is the first report on the use of bitumen as a sealing agent in an unguentarium with a dolomite stopper. Another unique finding. Wow, a double whammy. These findings constitute a breakthrough in the field of Roman perfumery, uncovering the use of patchouli as an essential oil. So basically, we've been doing this for a very long time. Very long time. Nice. It's pretty interesting. Love how it's specifically patchouli. Ooh. Moving on to the next topic. This article reads, same, goodnewsnetwork.org. Cancer screening could predict tumors decades before they start growing thanks to this discovery, by Andy Corbley. Published June 9th, 2023. Oh, this is awesome. Let me tell you something. Again, I mentioned it here before on the show, but because of all of the medical advances that there are right now, dude, they're really working hard on ways to prevent like cancer, and like certain vaccines that are being produced to be able to, combat certain types of cancers, and the fact that they've been able to come up with these new medications and whatnot that could help with current cancer treatments and whatnot. Man, it's incredible, and it's brings a lot of hope because it's such and obviously, depending on the type, depending on the levels, but it's such a consuming illness. It's just, can I call cancer illness? Or is it better to call it, or is it better called disease? I don't know. I don't want to insult anyone or anything, but nonetheless, it feels great to be able to see these steps taken towards finding new ways to combat different types of cancer. So many people have their own experiences with it, and there's been so many people lost because of it, and it sucks. Shout out to you. If not a shout out, I guess. Hope everything's okay on your end, and wishing you lots of strength, I guess, if you're currently going through this. And if you know anyone that has gone through this, lost someone because of it, man, sorry. And I offer you my condolences, and it sucks. I'd hug you, but if I try, I'd consume the whole screen, and I think I'd look weird. But I send you a hug. Alright, after scientists identified a link between the risk of cancer and clusters of chemicals in an individual's cells, a screening program that could detect tumors decades in advance is on the horizon. The chemicals are called circular RNAs, and when they stick to DNA strands in great enough numbers, they can cause tumors known as oncogenes. The breakthrough offers hope of developing personalized vaccines for vulnerable patients. Environmental and genetic factors have long been believed as the major contributors to cancer, explains lead author Professor Simon Kahn of Flinders University in Australia. We call this revolutionary finding ER3D, from endogenous RNA-directed DNA damage. Well, that's a mouthful. It ushers in an entirely new area of medical and molecular biology research. It opens the door for using these molecules as markers of disease at a very early stage, where the likelihood of curing cancers is much higher. The study compared neonatal blood tests, or Guthrie cards, of babies who went on to develop acute leukemia as infants. Dang. One specific circular RNA was present at much higher levels at birth, prior to the onset of symptoms, compared to peers with healthy blood. The findings suggest it's the abundance of these circular RNA molecules, which is a major determinant for why some develop these specific oncogenes and others do not. These specific circular RNAs can bind to DNA at many different locations across a range of cells, said Dr. Kahn. By binding to the DNA at specific sites, these circular RNAs cause a number of changes, culminating in the breakage of the DNA which the cell must repair in order to survive. This repair is not always perfect, and this can result in small mutations, like a misspelled word within a book, or worse, very, very large and devastating mutations. Wow. Multiple circular RNAs appear to act in partnership, causing breaks at multiple sites in the DNA. Wow. Wow, this process called chromosomal translocation is a major problem for the cell as it results in gene fusions which can actually convert the cell from a normal cell into a cancerous cell, said Dr. Vanessa Kahn, Simon's wife and lead author on the paper. This was demonstrated in 2 different cell types, and it was found that this drove the rapid onset of aggressive leukemia. Damn. With around 35,000 currently living with the disease. This is in Australia. It ends with, however, well, in all honesty, they're just giving explanations into why, like, the current problems that they were encountering. They end the article by saying, it says, however, until now, it was unknown how these mutations arose, even though more than 100 known fusions were found in patients. The next step, say the researcher partners, is to see if these fusions are present in other cancers. They don't really talk much about the actual title. I skimmed through it. Let's see what else. What? Good News Network. It's like you know me. Because we have another article about the ocean. And it says, pufferfish creating beautiful underwater mandalas. A scene of pure peace. They're making mandalas now, bruh. Goodnewsnetwork.org is where we are still reading from. This is written by Andy Corbley, published June 9th, 2023. That's pretty beautiful. It says, elaborate circles of sand and pebbles have been spotted off the coast of a Japanese island. Prior to 2011, these strange mandala-like circles found under the shallow sea were a mystery, and the identity of their architects was anything but expected. They are constructed for an annual mating ritual by male white-spotted pufferfish, reports Japanese news. The 15-centimeter long fish use their little fins to excavate the series of trenches during the mating season. It takes the animal around 3 weeks to complete the sand mandala spawning nest. After which they escort the females there. Oh, I see what you're doing there. Cleaning up house, making it all nice and comfy for a possible mate. Making them feel comfortable. The pufferfish way. Hey man, gotta do what you gotta do. Pufferfish is cleaning his house. It's like, I have company coming over. I need to make this look spotless. It reads, after this, they change professions from builders to protectors, guarding the eggs for 5 days until they hatch. Oh, so it worked. I see. Wow. That was quick. We hope a great number of divers will be able to see the nests while following observation rules. Katsuki Oki, 52, head of the Amami Marine Life Research Association, who took excellent photographs of these nests on the Oshima Strait seabed off southwest Japan's Amami Oshima Island. For centuries, whether with cooking implements or cars, the Japanese have been famous for their craftsmanship. Evidently, this trait extends to other branches of the Tree of Life on the famous islands. I see what you did there.
Unfortunately, this small Japanese pufferfish is dull, almost to the point of invisibility. But to compensate, he is probably nature's greatest artist. To grab a female's attention, he creates something that almost defies belief.
There's some streamception here because they took the video from another. They did the same thing YouTubers did. I can't put it because it has Is this? That's the Disney thing. Fuckers. Wow. Why would you put the Disney thing there? That sucks. You know what? Fuck it. We'll watch it without the Disney thing because I want to see the pufferfish. Look at him. Oh my goodness. He's really puffing. I can't even believe that they added the Disney, like the Disney theme song. I don't know if they still have the same one though, but that whole one there with like they show like the castle and shit, and yeah, I don't understand. Like they use that, isn't that like copyrighted? Because I'm pretty sure that that's not from Disney. Although that is David Attenborough. So I thought that was a Netflix documentary. Whatever, bro. That sucks. Like, who does that? And then out of all the ones, Disney, who are extremely anal with their stuff and they copyright shit really quickly. Really quickly. They don't play around with that shit. Ooh. Let's see. GoodNewsNetwork.org. Title reads, newly discovered rock art panels depict how ancient ancestors envisioned creation and adapted to change. Written by Andy Corbley, published June 8th, 2023. This one says, is that a video? No. Dang it. Does have pictures though, but Australia. Alright. Australia's vast wilderness are famous for many things, but rock art, specifically, one of the largest concentrations of rock art known in the world, isn't typically one of them. West Arnhem Land in the Queensland Peninsula hosts an incredible painted record of man's relation to his planet, its changes, challenges, and bounty. But a completely new rock art style covering 4,000 years of history shows Aboriginal Australians adapting to the transformation of Arnhem Land into the lush riverine environment it is today. The total collection of painted rock art in West Arnhem Land has been dated to a span of 30,000 years, stretching from just a few centuries ago to back within the last ice age. Oh shit. However, the period between 8000 BCE and 4000 BCE was seemingly absent from the variety of images painted onto the sandstone. Now, the Beninj, Hmong, and Amurdak Aboriginal people teamed up with archaeologists led by Paul Tacon of Griffith University to finally isolate the works from this hidden period. They show a land in flux, where sea level rise meant the coasts retreated backward 150 feet per year, where mangrove forests came to dominate the near shore landscape, and increased rainfall fed already swollen rivers. Wow. Fucking shout out to whoever wrote that part. I wish I had like a deeper voice so I can read it like they read it in like for movie trailers and whatnot. They show a land in flux where sea level rise meant the coasts retreated backward 150 feet per year. I'd have to probably get a thing to do like effects and whatnot. It says using the local Hmong people's language, one of Tacon's Beninj Aboriginal collaborators has dubbed the new rock art style the Maliwawa style. After 8 years of field surveying and work, the team has documented 572 Maliwawa paintings and is ready to share their story with the world. It was really exciting to find previously undocumented shelters with lots of Maliwawa figures on walls and ceilings, sometimes in scenes. When we saw these paintings for the first time, there was a rush of adrenaline, much excitement, cheering, and lots of shouts to each other. Okay. So, let's see what they talk about the actual description. 16,000 years ago, paintings were simply images of animals, while 5,000 years later, the style shifts to one depicting humans interacting with animals and the landscape with tools. Then there's the 4 million gap recently filled by the Maliwawa style, before Aborigines began using unique floral motifs around 4,000 years ago, and practicing anatomical drawings 2,000 years after that. Let's see. Maliwawa style figures showcase people in dreamlike floating poses. Metamorphoses are common, with humans taking on the shapes of animals, like a kangaroo head. Furthermore, the interplay between human and animal is more intimate than any other style. And again, this is Australia. Then at some point in time later on, Egyptians were adoring deities that were combinations of humans and animals. We see in Greek mythology how there are minotaurs and stuff like that. So think about it. Like, this all began such a long time ago, yet that's something that has always been found in like history. And we were talking about mythology last week. It's that correlation between humans and nature, and like human beings and animals, and how they would create deities to be able to represent all of the different phenomena that they couldn't really explain and didn't have any scientific explanation to them, so they just made them up. They imagined them as human representation of whatever it is that they are trying to describe. Example, Zeus with thunder, Aphrodite with love, and that's just like Greek specifically. But I mentioned like the minotaurs and stuff because that's a combination of a human and an animal. And it's, again, interesting that we're seeing the Maliwawa style of figures that were found on walls, and it's like they're explaining here. It's like the interplay between human and animal, and it's more intimate than any other style. Crazy how it regardless of where we're focusing on, there's around the world, there's still things that I guess unintentionally connect, and just kind of makes you wonder if we truly are just one subconscious living out some sort of reality. Shout out Tool. Actually, that's Timothy Leary, so yeah, who says something similar to that. That's Bill Hicks. Timothy Leary says something similar to it, but that's Bill Hicks. Sorry. If you know, you know. These what they found in this is they also depict evidence of a changing climate, with the first ever painting of a dugong found anywhere on Earth. Many snakes and reptiles are shown, perhaps because their burrows were being flooded routinely. Unlike the other rock art styles in Arnhem Land that portray the world through human eyes, Takan and his Aboriginal collaborators find that animals are often the storytellers in Maliwawa art. Their hypothesis is that it was the ancients' way of showing the degree to which every form of life was impacted by the dampening of their land. There's also significant variation in the Maliwawa works. Populations were becoming more regionally distinct, and this can be seen in the rock art across West Arnhem Land, Takan told Matt Stern, writing in Archaeology magazine. The emergence of a few regionally distinct styles of rock art in northern Australia, including the Maliwawa style, reflects this. While working alongside the Aborigines, Takan was able to benefit from a two-toolbox approach that showed how the more dramatic Maliwawa depictions are showing, quote-unquote, the dreaming, the Beninj creation story where the world was made and spirits passed on information through art. Some Maliwawa-style scenes seem to depict important dreaming creation stories that are still important today, says Takan. And aspects of the style, such as the back-to-back figures, are still painted in the context of important spirit beings. So, the Maliwawa-style figures highlight long-term connections, not only to the land, but also to the origin of key creation stories in a time of great change. The 21st century has seen some of the largest advances in the study of rock art in modern history. Large works, such as the so-called Sistine Chapel of the Ancients, or the Pecos River style, which is now being recognized as the oldest book in North America, show a level of community organization and depth of knowledge in theology long thought absent in hunter-gatherer society. I mean, they had the time. So why would you deny? How could you doubt that they could have come up with these things? Yeah. Let's see. These both seem pretty interesting. When was this published? Wow. Still from goodnewsnetwork.org. This is a little bit older. This is from September 30th, 2022. And it's a link found at the end of this article that we just finished reading about the rock art paintings. But this one says 300 epic ancient murals unique in the world depict creation myths on Texas rock. Oldest books in North America. Published by, like I said, goodnewsnetwork.org. Written by Andy Corbley. And I said September 30th, 2022. This is pretty interesting because... this is it's Southwest Texas. A unique in the world style of ancient rock art is bringing to life a culture of hunter-gatherers with a penchant for incredible art, spiritual journeys, and wild imaginations. Archaeologists studying the site for more than 30 years have discovered much about this strange culture dating from 2500 BC to 600 AD, and digital renderings of their rock art reveal their animistic belief systems as never before. Wow. Hey, Sally, it's cool. How are you doing today? Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for being here. It says, down where the Pecos River flows into the Rio Grande, an archaeological site called the White Shaman Rock Shelter includes a 26-foot-long rock wall facing west. It's long been known that this wall has been the site of pictographic art, but it wasn't until Carolyn Boyd arrived in 1989 that the true extent of the White Shaman wall would be revealed. At that time, Boyd was, of all things, a professional muralist who painted for commission. Once thought to be unconnected scribbles made by hunter-gatherers in the Pecos River area over long periods of time, Boyd needed only a short look to figure out all the drawings were connected. Okay, I want a description of what was found. Okay. So, they're explaining a little bit about, it says, a mysterious culture. White Shaman Rock Shelter is only one site in the area. Rattlesnake Canyon. Okay. Has a rock wall 100 feet long with depictions in the same style, now called the Pecos River style, and other archaeologists working in the area have documented 300 such murals containing this kind of art, which Boyd and her teams at the Shumla Archaeological Research and Education Center describe as the oldest books in North America. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so Boyd noticed that 3 vertical levels covered the White Shaman Wall, which she interpreted as the underworld, middle world, and upper world, a foundational belief across many Mesoamerican cultures. She also noticed that the deer had black-colored antlers, a motif found in the art of the Huichol, who still live in the mountains of western Mexico today. A series of clues were connected. Studying the Huichol, Boyd learned that their shamans go on a 600-mile pilgrimage to gather the hallucinogenic cacti, peyote, and that they do this by following deer, believed to be an animal manifestation of the plant, with a bow and arrow. Man alive, man. We're worrying about taxes here and all this crap. My man is like going on a 600-mile pilgrimage to gather a hallucinogenic, and they do it by following a deer with a bow and arrow. Bro, my ancestors used to, like, this was their itinerary in a day. This was what they did. This was their schedule. They would get up in the morning, and they would hunt, they would eat, they would probably bathe in the ocean, they would fuck, they'd eat again, and then they would probably gather at night in front of a fire and just talk about weird things, like crazy ideas and the way they were seeing the world and how nature worked and all that shit. And then they would just go back to just rinse and repeat every single day. And we went from that to worrying about like taxes and the state of the world and politics and fucking minimum wage and jobs and there are certain people that want to go back to a certain period of time. Man, I wish I could go back to this time. simpler times. Pre-colonization times. Could you imagine the peyote that these people were getting? Unfeathered by climate change or anything? Psst, come on now. Sprinkle some weed in there, dude. It would have. Come on. Take me to this time. Take me to this time and have it extend and never change, because this sounds pretty awesome. At the end of the pilgrimage, the shaman shoot the cactus with their bow, metaphorically sacrificing the deer and the plant before gathering the peyote buttons, quote unquote. Bah. Sounds like a fucking good time, bro. I know someone that once did peyote and it went horribly wrong and they chipped like a few of their teeth. He fell forward. Shout out to you. That's crazy. Not so much because of what happened to this person, but the fact that that's how strong that hallucinogenic is. Definitely on my list of life-altering experiences that I want to engage in. So, black antlered deer depicted with arrows coming out of them surrounded by small button-shaped dots have been recorded on white shaman's walls, nearby to which arrowheads and peyote residue have been recovered from digs. Boyd later concluded that not only was the entire painting a visual guide on how to carry out the peyote pilgrimage, but that it displays the creation myth of several ancient cultures, including the Pecos River people, the Huichol, and the nearby Nahua, simultaneously. And there's a video too. Sweet. Hopefully it doesn't have copyright music in it, but the master narrative. In painting the depictions of the creation of the sun and the dawn of time, through the creation of mankind and other events on the wall at White Shaman, Boyd noted that all the pigments were laid down in precise strata, in the sense that all the black pigment was applied first across the whole mural. Black was the primordial color of shadow and femininity. Next, all the red pigments were put down, symbolizing not only masculinity, but also the color of the sky at dawn. You notice how now society has flipped that completely over, and now you know, red is associated more with, and this is, I'm only just talking about society. I don't agree with any of that shit. I'm not saying anything. All I am saying is the reality of the case, and it's that, yeah, now red is attributed to more towards femininity, and color black is more still shadow, but it's more towards like masculinity, which I don't understand, but that is just kind of explaining the change. But obviously we see that back in the day, very, 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 very back in the day, it was completely different. Again, the red pigments were put down, symbolizing not only masculinity, but also the color of the sky at dawn. Then came all the yellows, the color of the sun, and then white, the shadowless world, and perhaps also the world of the gods. Wow, it's pretty beautiful. The Dawn Arc, a fundamental symbol of other Mesoamerican beliefs, is seen on the left, after which the peyote pilgrims from the ritual story became the 5 godlike ancestors in the Huichol and Nahua traditions, walking towards the arc with torches to stoke the flames of the first sunrise. Dude was high as fuck on peyote, man. He was just seeing 2 people approaching him, and he thought they were like, oh shit, it's deities. It's crazy. That's how. Yeah, again, it's pretty strong hallucinogenic. The largest pictograph is the mother goddess of the Huichol belief system, a half serpent, half catfish, being risen up to meet the sun at noon. Wow, a half serpent, half catfish. Wow. Her colleagues consider her work groundbreaking. This style is the oldest large group of pictographs in the New World, and it's been overlooked by Mesoamericanists. Texas tech art historian Carolyn Tate, who is an authority on Olmec art, told Archaeology magazine. She's making us pay attention to the idea that this could be the northern frontier of Mesoamerica. Some of the motifs she's identified, such as the crenellated arc. These are visual patterns you see in Nahua manuscripts. Where is said video? It looks like a really well done video. Oh, is it open to the public? Boyd founded the aforementioned Shumla Center in Comstock, Texas, who are trying to protect and make this information onto the world. Oh, look, they run guided tours throughout the canyon lands. Nice. I would love to see that firsthand. That'd be amazing. Okay, let's see what this has to offer us.
Back in 1979, I put a canoe in at Pandale, Texas, and floated the last 66 miles of the Pecos River, floated clear to Mexico, got into the most inundating rainstorms that I've ever been in, took shelter in a cave, and that cave was loaded with painting. I didn't realize at the time how ancient they were, but it changed my life forever.
Wow.
Here in the Lower Pecos Canyonlands, there are over 300 murals just on the Texas side of the border. They are unique across the globe.
The rock art we know is at least 4,000 years old. That really drew me to it. And when I looked up at the first panel and I just saw how much information was there, I fell in love with that.
Shumla is an archaeological research and education nonprofit. Our mission is to preserve the oldest known books in North America, which is what we consider the Pecos River style rock art out here. We're all about learning, researching the rock art here, giving the rock art its due justice, and trying to tell everyone in the world about it and how incredible it is.
That'd be awesome to see
Never
firsthand.
did we think that we were going to know what these panels meant.
Huge.
When I first came out here, I was told that they were a random collection of images painted over hundreds or thousands of years by different people. That we would never know what it was.
Oh, nice. That's Carolyn Boyd.
And as an artist, what I saw was an actual composition. Now, after at least 25 years of study and documentation of 20 plus sites, we now know that these are not random. Everything carries meaning. They are pictorial narratives, ancient texts. This is a 150-foot long book filled with information about the lifeways of the people that lived here and their belief systems.
I mean, think about it. Oh shit! I left the music on. I'm sorry. Think about this. Well, I'll turn it off now. They did this such a long time ago, very long time ago, with the intention of just kind of like recording for themselves and for their own people, documenting on through art and depictions of how they saw life at that point in time. And it's just like imagining it, but little did they know, like, this would be, it just holds such importance to us now. And not only does it give us, again, an insight on how their lives were at that period in time, but it's, I don't know, a little bit comforting to know that even then they understood the importance of like documenting things and having things plastered onto something. Maybe they didn't think that it was something, again, for thousands and thousands of years later to be studied and researched. I don't think that was their purpose, but fucking thank you to them. I mean, it's not something you normally say or normally hear people say, but dude, it's we should be really appreciative of those that have lived at, because they left these things for us, and we're able to research it, and we're able to study it and admire it. it's crazy. It's comforting too that they did this. Like, wow, such a human thing to do. It's crazy. I don't know if you share the same thought as I do, but I find it very interesting.
These are the oldest known books in North America, and we are losing them.
We have information that no one ever thought we would have access to. And not only do we have 1 mural or 2 murals, we have 300 that hold this information that we can now read. We've been given the oldest known books in North America, and we're watching basically as water just washes them away one by one. And we feel a huge responsibility to preserve them and to make sure that that information is available to people all over the world forever. The murals are incredibly endangered. It's terrifying to see them deteriorate so rapidly.
The Rio Grande was impounded by what is called Amistad Lake, and it raised the level of the water, inundated ancient caves rich in pictorial art. Whereas water was scarce in the area, now there's an abundance.
Every time there's a storm, that water's rising, and eventually it's going to be high enough that it will cover it, and the flood will just take it away.
We could lose a mural in one flood episode, in one event. Paintings
I wonder,
that
but what
have
could be
been
done?
there for thousands of years, lost. We have to document these because we will lose them. It's not if we lose them. The question is when.
We use a lot of incredible technologies in our documentation process and our research. For example, the Dynalite microscope that allows us to study the stratigraphy and the sequence in which the paint was laid down. My team, they are able to take images in such a way that the software then can stitch it together and create a 3D model.
The documentation that we're doing
Power
right
of technology.
now is saving a lot of this stuff for future generations. Let's say that we go in there and we document a site with 3D modeling at the resolution we're doing. If that site was lost tomorrow, we have enough data now that if we had a big enough 3D printer, we could recreate that site and put it back in place. It's important to save this rock art because it's part of our past. And if we don't save that and we don't learn from it, then we lose a part of ourselves.
They had extremely complex understandings of the universe and of the sky and of the seasons and the stars, and they don't preserve in the archaeological record because a stone tool isn't going to tell us about that, but the art tells us about that.
True.
And this is a chapter in the prehistory of our continent that we need to preserve, and we need to read, and we need to share. Shimla is one of the few archaeological centers in the United States that is not a government agency or a university department. We rely entirely on...
Hell yeah. I didn't mean to cut her off there. It's just the video's about to end anyway, so. But, I mean, kudos to the fact that we are at a point in technology where we're able to, you know, they would be able to like recreate what's on the walls there, but I don't think there's anything they can do in regards to like the water. So it's a pretty tough pickle to be in if you really think about it. But again, I mean, it's so fascinating to see something. Yeah, I don't know. Someone would see that and they'd probably think like it's something simple, or it holds such important significance to it. And I also find fascinating that they, again, had to... She's absolutely correct. They had a very complex way of seeing the world as opposed to us. That we have, even within its own complexity, if that's what you want to call it. We have more answers, obviously, to questions that they probably had themselves that they couldn't put any answers to. I mean, we have scientific data now. We have analysis. I mean, we have people that dedicate their lives to be able to answer those questions, or at least give some sort of explanation to a possible answer or anything. But back then, they didn't really. They relied on what they saw and how they were interpreting it, and that makes it even more complex because while they were trying their hardest to simplify something that they viewed as so big as the world around them. There's, with so much data behind everything, there's a better understanding of things, so it's not as complex as it was for them. Still pretty fascinating, that relationship between the way they viewed humans and nature and like plants, and just repeating what they said there, the fact that they used depictions of combinations of human beings and animals, combinations of animals. They had, I guess, a deity that was half catfish, half snake. Wow. They should definitely do as much as possible to be able to preserve it, but at the same time, it's really hard, because if you noticed where if you're hearing the audio version of this, again, I will post a link of the episode so you can watch it. But it's underneath. So at any given moment, if there's like a huge flood or there's like a few days of raining, they could possibly wash away a lot quicker than what we were expecting, basically. And this is from, what is it, September 2022? Yeah, September 2022. So almost a year later. So who knows how many have been washed away at this point. You can't cut cut a slab of like the whole stone or anything without it causing any effect on the mountain. So it's not like you can take that part off and just like move it into a museum or anything. So the closest thing that we have is those, like, the 3D images and the stitches of like the individual images that could form the whole mural. It's about 150 feet tall in total. So like, yeah, it's pretty big. It's gonna be really hard to take that out from there. But wow, just the incredible significance of this discovery. And yeah, there's so much history here in North America that is not really talked about much. I wonder why. Alright, you know what? Your boy I'm hungry. It's lunchtime. I will call it quits for today. Oh shit, it does the same thing for my t-shirt as well. Hey, if you're watching me on a laptop, dude, scan this QR code. It's scannable. It'll take you to my link tree. You'll have access to all my socials there, everywhere that you can watch me live. My YouTube link is there as well, so it's for your comfort and commodity. So you can go ahead and use that QR code. Just scan it with your phone. You already know I'm all across social media: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. If you want to further support me, you can use your Amazon Prime here on Twitch. That's Twitch Prime. If not, you can just follow me here on Twitch. That would greatly help, and it'll notify you when I go live. Wow, what an amazing episode today. Loved it. Loved every second of it. I always love being live here with you guys. Again, this is one of my happy places. We did about 5 different articles today, or 6. Went down a few rabbit holes. It's pretty awesome. Damn you, mosquitoes. Damn you to hell. Damn you to hell. You're like on par with ants. I hate ants. I hate them. I hate ants. I think that's the worst one for me. I could take any other insects. I could take a cockroach if you want. Fine. But ants, nah, I fucking hate them. They're the worst of the worst of the worst. On par with mosquitoes. I don't like flies that much either, but it's mosquitoes and ants for me. Those are the worst ones. And we talked about mosquitoes today. So watch out with that dove and dial, because it's apparently attracting mosquitoes towards you. And carboxylic acid too. So I guess don't eat oranges that much. Dominicans are not gonna like that. Actually, Caribbeans are not gonna like that. Let me tell you something. Puerto Ricans, they eat a lot of fruits and vegetables like that too. So they're in the same situation we are. There's a lot of mosquitoes there too. And Cuba too. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of them in Jamaica too as well. So it's like a Caribbean thing. I think they just love that beautiful, hot, warm weather. Jeez, it's crazy. All right, I'm out. I think it's hunger that's attacking me. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Probably after 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll do another Coffee, the News, and Us. I'm working on a few things. Working on a few updates and improvements. And also, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a schedule change coming soon. Really soon. I'm crossing fingers that it's extremely soon. Yeah, other than that, remember to join the Discord, King Angel's Entertainment Lounge. We watch movies, album listens, concerts, a little bit of everything. And I have a Patreon. Join that community. I have a 7-day free trial going on right now, so you can check out the Patreon. And if you like it, you can just stay as a member. And that's $2 a month. It includes a whole bunch of benefits. You can read about it in the description box of the live stream, or heading over to Patreon directly will give you all of the information about the benefits that you will receive by being a King Angel Show Patreon member. It's a lot. Hope you enjoy them. And there's plenty more that's going to be added to it. So I appreciate the support. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for stopping by. Sai, It's Lethal TV. I really appreciate it. Your support means the world to me. And I hope you have a very wonderful Monday. I'll see you tomorrow. Tuesday. Summer's almost here. Hopefully summer treats us a lot better than spring. Because spring didn't sprung this year that much. Have a very wonderful day. This is the King Angel Show. I'm King Angel, a San Francisco Bay Area live streamer, content creator here on YouTube and Twitch. And you guys know this is Coffee, the News, and Us. Take it easy. Peace.